Okay, last week we were working on finding the slope between two lines. We also looked at how we can write equations of lines in slope-intercept form and then how we change from standard to slope-intercept form. This week what we're going to work on is you drawing the graphs. So you will be given the information or you will be given the equation and then you have to draw the graph that matches that equation. So we've got the steps right here to what we do when we're drawing these lines. We get the equation in slope-intercept form, graph the y-intercept first, so we go up or down in order to plot our b. We use the slope to create some more points, and then we connect them. You only need 2 points, but you can draw more than 2 just to make the line as accurate as you can. So we're going to get right into some examples graphing these lines using slope-intercept. So we look at number 1. My slope is -1. My intercept is at 5. All right, there's a -1 in front of the x. The intercept is at +5. So to graph this line, we start by going up to +5. So starting at the origin, count up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We put our first dot. And then my slope is -1. -1 is the same thing as -1/1. So from here, we would go down 1 and to the right 1. You can do that as many times as you want to get multiple points to put on the line. And then you grab a piece of paper or a ruler or your ID, anything that you have that can help you make a straight line. And you draw a line through those points that you just made. And you can have it keep going as long as you want. There's our line. All right, looking at number 2. So same thing. My slope is -3, which is the same thing as 3/1. All right, we have to have a fraction in there somehow, so if it's just a number, we put that number over 1, because if we just go down or up, that's going to give us an undefined slope instead of a slope of -3. And then my y-intercept is at -1. Since the intercept's negative, I go down 1, put my point, and then my slope is -3, so I can either go down 3 and to the right 1, or I can go up 3 and then I would go to the left. We just have to make one of the numbers negative so that our slope is negative. Once we've got a couple of points, we just draw a line through those points and we've graphed the linear equation. All right, number 3. Same thing. We take what we're given in the equation, and then from what we're given, we get our slope and our intercept. So my slope is 2/5. My intercept is at 2. And then I use that information to draw a couple of points. So we start with our intercept. I go up 2. And then the slope tells me that from here I can go up 2 and to the right 5. Or I could go down 2 and to the left 5. Once we have a couple of points, we draw our line and we're done. All right, remember, anytime the slope is negative, our line's going to fall as it goes to the right. Anytime our slope is positive, our line will rise. It will go up as we go to the right. All right, so now that we've gone through a couple of these problems together, try out number 4. So graph your y-intercept and then your slope. Connect those dots. Try out number 5. And try out number 6. All right, sometimes you'll get equations where it looks like things are in the wrong order, or maybe you're missing a piece. So for number 7, I have my slope. My slope is -4. Slope is always the number that is in front of the x, but then there's nothing after it. This is the same thing as saying y equals -4x plus 0. So when there is no number, when it looks like there is no y-intercept, that means my y-intercept is 0. So we start at the origin, and then from there I'll go down 4 and over 1, or I could go up 4 and left 1. Once we've got our negative slope, we just connect the dots and our line is finished. And then for problems like 8 and like 9, all they did was they switched the order. So just remember, my slope is always going to be attached to my x. So here my slope is 5, my intercept is -3. Here my slope is -6/5. My intercept is 1. And then once we know that information, we're good to graph. Here we're going to start down at -3. Always start with the y-intercept. Doesn't matter if they switch the order in the equation. We have to start with the y-intercept at -3. Slope is 5, so I go up 5 and to the right 1 because I want my slope to be positive. And then we connect our dots. Same thing for number 9. I start with my y-intercept, which is +1. And then my slope is -6/5, so I will go down 6 and to the right 5. All right, so that is how we graph linear equations when they are in slope-intercept form. Graph the intercept first, and then use the slope to come up with another point. Now, last week we also looked at other ways of writing these equations, like when we had some equations in standard form. And so when we're graphing these equations, all we have to do is change them into slope-intercept form first, and then we can graph the line. So for number 10, I have to get y by itself, so I'm going to start by subtracting x from both sides. Now I have 3y equals -1x minus 3. And then we divide all of the numbers by 3. So we're left with y equals -1/3 x minus, and then 3 divided by 3 is 1. Our b, our y-intercept, is -1, so we graph that first. Our slope is -1/3, so from here we go down 1 and to the right 3, or I can go up 1, but then I have to go to the left 3. Once you've got a couple of points, you just connect them. All right, so it's the same thing, only difference is we have to do a little bit of work to get the equation in slope-intercept form. Try out number 11. All right, so I have to get y by itself. I'm going to subtract x from both sides. Now I have -y equals -x minus 5. And then since I don't want my y to be negative, I am just going to divide everything by -1. So now we have positive y, positive x, positive 5, and then we can graph. We start with our intercept of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then my slope is 1, so from here we just go up 1 over 1. Once you have at least 2 points, you can connect your line through those 2 points. All right. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, they're all the same type of problem. Try out 12, get it in slope-intercept form, and then graph. And try out 15, get 15 in slope-intercept form and graph. If you feel like you've got the hang of it after that, then you are good. You can move on to the next page, which is the homework for this section. So once you feel like you've got the hang of these, you can go into the homework and start working on graphing these lines.